As U.S. and Ukrainian officials prepare for high-stakes talks in Saudi Arabia this week, President Donald Trump has privately signaled that a signed minerals deal between Washington and Kyiv will not be sufficient to restart critical aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine, according to administration and U.S. officials. The proposed minerals deal, which would grant the U.S. a stake in Ukraine's vast mineral resources, is a key priority for President Trump. However, officials reveal that Trump is also demanding a shift in Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's approach to peace negotiations. Specifically, Trump wants Zelenskyy to demonstrate a willingness to make concessions, including potentially ceding territory to Russia. Additionally, Trump is pushing for progress toward elections in Ukraine and has even suggested that Zelenskyy consider stepping down as the country's leader. Ukraine's elections have been suspended under martial law, which was enacted following Russia's invasion in 2022. White House National Security Council spokesman Brian Hughes commented on the situation, stating, "As President Trump demonstrated by reading President Zelenskyy's message at the joint session, the Ukrainians have made positive movement. With meetings in Saudi this coming week, we look forward to hearing more positive steps that could ultimately end this brutal war and bloodshed." Escalating violence amid paused U.S. support. The pause in U.S. military aid and intelligence sharing has coincided with a sharp escalation in Russian attacks on Ukraine. The United Nations Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine reported that Friday marked one of the deadliest days for civilians this year, with most casualties occurring in the Donetsk region, which remains under Ukrainian control. Casualty figures for 2025 have already surpassed those of 2024, according to the monitoring agency. While U.S. officials have stated there is no direct evidence linking the intelligence sharing pause to the increased Russian attacks, they acknowledged that such large-scale assaults were likely planned well in advance. Despite the halt in offensive intelligence sharing, the U.S. continues to provide Ukraine with defensive intelligence, such as warnings of impending attacks, but has stopped supplying targeting data for preemptive strikes against Russian forces. Pressure mounts to restore aid. Congressional Republicans are urging the White House to resume both military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Officials expressed optimism that the flow of weapons, equipment, and intelligence could be restored as early as next week, particularly after President Zelenskyy announced that Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible. Zelenskyy also emphasized his willingness to work under President Trump's leadership to achieve a lasting peace. European allies step in, but gaps remain. For nearly 3 years, the U.S. has been a critical supplier of targeting information, satellite imagery, and signals intelligence to Ukraine. With the recent pause, European allies are working to fill some of the gaps, but a Western official warned that the absence of U.S. intelligence is having a daily impact on Ukraine's defense capabilities. Every day hurts Ukraine, and every day gives Russia a more favorable position, the official stated. As the situation remains fluid, all eyes are on the upcoming talks in Saudi Arabia, where the future of U.S.-Ukraine relations and the trajectory of the ongoing conflict could be significantly shaped. Reporting for #NewsExtreme, this is Lisa Smith.